going live, preparing to live stream the media, even though I know from experience, generally we start live and then I get the notification that yes, you are indeed live, but okay, there it is. There it is. All right. So let me set this up real quick because we do have, first of all, everybody, welcome to Friday. Happy Easter weekend to everybody. It is a beautiful day here in the Midwest. It's a little cooler than what we had the last couple of weeks, but that's kind of a nice little dip back into the cool cold training. So I'm going to go ahead and check out the chats just to make sure. I should have the chats open. Today, my guest again back on the show is Marie Bodine, and she and I actually were on a conference call earlier today. And it is interesting that what we're talking about, because the guy we were on a conference call with today actually did something like what we're going to be discussing today. and so like what we're going to do.
Well, yeah.
Well,
there's similarities.
But fortunately, he did live. But we're going to talk a little bit about, let's see here, hang on just a second. Let me get the audio right. Okay, here we go. So hopefully what we're going to be doing is, we're going to do this. Okay, I'm going to make sure that the screen is right on my computer. This is what people tune in for, Marie. They want to see me and hear me talking to myself as to what I'm doing on the screen. Anyway, Marie, how's it going? It's here we are.
I never get tired of talking to you, whether it's on this platform or whether it's sending you like goofy, clips, which is what we're going to talk about today.
Let me just, I'm going to speak to that actually right now. What Marie will do is she'll send me a clip or just, it's like a random excerpt of something with just like a question mark, and there won't be anything else like, and I'm like, well, okay, what are we doing here, Marie? Is this, so
it's like a board game, but like, there's only two of us and there's no rules.
And this is like, okay. So then I watch the video and I'm like, okay, what did she want me to do with this? And so sometimes I'll be like commenting on, I think the last time we had this back and forth, it was about this video that this guy, he was talking nonsense, but that wasn't the thing you were wanting me to comment on. It was the fact that he had amazing music. And right. Yeah. And so here I was like, you're right. He's talking nonsense. And then you're like, well, no, okay, shut up. The music though, wasn't that, and it's like, but anyway, Marie and I, a lot of times we'll talk about like, we're really into being safe with these things that we do. And we're into training, and Marie sent me this article with a couple of TikTok videos, and we're going to review this today. Hey, first of all, hey, good to see you, Brandon. Nice to have you here. JCC and Hewitt 235. Nice to have you there. And if you guys have questions later on, we might be able to get to the questions. But first, let's get into this. Let's just dive right in. So set the stage for us, Marie. What is it that we're about to see?
So great. We're going to set this up right, because get your popcorn, everyone. Even though this is short, this is going to be like, what happens next? So are you gonna share a screen, or how are you gonna play?
I'm gonna share a screen. Yeah. So here, I'm gonna just, let me.
All right. So the setup, everyone, is that this person has their girlfriend and their dog on a frozen lake.
Yeah.
Sounds innocent. Sounds fun. Now, I'm pretty sure they've done. This is fantastic. I'm pretty sure that they've done cold exposure before, and they've done lake swimming or cold plunging out in nature before.
Right.
So who knows where they saw this? Hint, hint. They could have seen somebody online somewhere posting a video of themselves swimming under ice water between two holes. So there's an opening here, and in a certain amount of feet or meters, there's a hole someplace else. Now, right away, even before we press the video, I know that they've set themselves up for complete failure right off the bat. And we'll talk about why after the video. Watch this individual.
Yeah.
And we're going to explain what happens after the video.
Let's
But
just let's take a look at it. So we've got the nice pictures here, and of course the title here, watch TikTok star come close to dying, um, trapped under ice in crazy stunt. So I mean, obviously we're in for a good time. So this is the first video. Let's see if I okay. So it's obvious that it's not his first time to go and take like an ice bath or do cold training, because he's doing,
oh,
he's doing
oh,
some high end stuff, but
oh,
here's where it comes.
can't, where's the hole?
Yeah.
Oh, and he goes back now. He's trying to go and find the original hole because he can't find the exit hole. Now he goes back to try and find the entrance hole, and he still can't. There's his clothes. He's missing it. He's missing it. His
Yeah.
O2 levels dropping. He's dropping. And then he goes back again, the other way again, to try and find the exit hole for the second time. Oh,
Yeah.
now see how hard he's breathing, and he's almost, and the dog's like, "Yeah, you made it," and he's just like, "Holy shit, I almost died there."
Yeah. And here's the thing, like, I don't think I was sharing audio just now, but just real quick, I don't think I was sharing audio, but there
That was
really
quick.
isn't much audio to share, because it's it's pretty much just the video and the person filming. And I'm always like, man, can you imagine? Because I was watching it and I was like, okay. And there's a certain amount of time that passes whenever you're like, okay. I'd start to be really worried at this point.
Right.
And the person filming doesn't say a thing, and this is one of those weird things where, like, I mean, what could you say? It's not like you could say, like, oh, find the hole, it's a little to your left, keep swimming, but it's this, like, well, I guess this is how my boyfriend dies.
So let's break this down.
Yeah.
For those of you that thought that was cool and that you want to try because you have a death wish, obviously, and you want to duplicate this ridiculously unplanned, irresponsible, frightening stunt.
Yes.
Firstly, here let's tell you
Let's
what
just, yeah.
all the things you need to do wrong. First of
Right.
all the things this is what you don't do, which will obviously make it safe. You don't need goggles.
No. I mean, what
Your
you got?
eyes won't freeze instantly, which is apparently what happened to this person, what they said after in the interview, because they got interviewed by the media and he said, I actually couldn't see as soon as I got in. Well, of course you can't, because you're in really, really cold water.
Yeah.
Your eyes aren't designed to work in
Yeah.
cold water at that temperature. Secondly, what you didn't do is you didn't have a lifeline.
Right. So there wouldn't be, even if he died, think about that. If he died, like, I didn't see anybody there safety, like as life, like, quote unquote lifeguards with
Nope.
axes or whatever.
Nope.
They would have had to have tried to cut in to get him at that point. Or he would have just been stuck there. And I think it was just, his girlfriend would have been like, so he's there. I mean, it would be like, I can't quite get to him. He's under, like, looks like 6 inches of ice.
Yeah.
So
No emergency plan. No emergency plan. Thirdly, when she was asked later, hey, lady, what were you thinking when you saw this person going back and forth, not being able to find their way, clearly looking lost in a very
yeah,
short distance, not very long? She said, I thought he was playing a joke on me. I thought he was fooling around.
and and I gotta say, those are famous last words, right? That happens,
Right.
I think, so often. And maybe it's the type of person, right? And I will say that I've done a lot of growing up. Okay, I've had to do a lot of hard growing up, but yeah, I remember there would be times whenever I might have done something stupid and experienced the results. the natural consequences that came with that stupid action. And I remember a lot of times people would be like, they didn't think I actually hurt myself, or that, there was really any kind of consequences, but it was like, oh, I thought you were just kidding around. No, no, I'm I well, let's just say karaoke. And one time it was lip syncing. I was lip syncing to "I'm Too Sexy" because come on. What do you, if you have your choices, what are you going to lip sync to? It's going to be to Why I Said Fred.
Yeah.
And I jumped off of the top of like the stage and like basically crippled myself instantly. And everybody thought I was kidding, and they were laughing, and I was like, I was like, I'm too sexy for my shirt.
I'm too sexy for ER.
Yeah. I'm too sexy to walk. So, but yeah, I think sometimes that that's the thing that happens. So
yeah.
Anyway,
So
yeah. So yeah, you found out that she thought he was just kind of messing around and kind of joking around. Okay. So he had no goggles, he had no lifeline, and apparently he had a very small exit hole that was
dumb.
We never really saw that either. And I think a lot of times, it seems like, of course, I think human beings, we believe we have a pretty good sense of direction, right? It's been proven that we can't walk in a straight line unless we have a focal point, right? And it's weird, right? We just assume, well, I can walk in a straight line. Come on, just put one foot in front of the next, and then but like time and time again, unless we have a focal point, we just can't seem to do it.
Why do you need to?
Right? Why would I want to walk in a straight line? So
exam for that. Who cares?
Yeah. I've got my own style. And the thing is, he was trying to swim in a straight line, apparently. Yeah, he could have died. And that's the thing. Well, and again, we all know one Dutch daredevil who did a lot of this, right? But if you watch those videos, there actually is a lifeline. There actually is a rope. Now, of course, he also did it without it, but then again, that's him. That's him. And there's no containing this particular friend of ours. But hey, okay, so let's take a look. Next video is his second attempt. So he decided, okay, lessons learned. Maybe we're going to do some safety this time. And so, okay, so we're going to go down here. And so this is his second attempt. Goggles.
Right.
So he can actually see. And he had something to shoot for. And look at that exit hole.
Massive. You'd have to be really, really like not there to miss that exit.
Yeah. Like, and as far as, he still didn't have the like a rope or like a safety rope attached to him,
right?
But at least he did have, it wasn't an insanely long distance if you take a look at how far that is. So we're going to take, I'll just go back to the beginning again. Let's see, how many meters?
Where are the people that know? And first of all, someone really should know first aid here too, in these kinds of.
Now I'm wondering if the people at the end do. I don't know, just based off what I'm seeing, but okay. So then there was a towel there, something to shoot for. And then he had these two people there. They don't look like paramedics. They look like, but then again, it's hard to know.
And, to be perfectly honest, that ice doesn't actually look too thick. So I wouldn't be standing on the edge there in full clothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's not a lot of blankets there. There's not a lot of warming things. There's no, this person, although yes, we didn't see the whole video. Do they know how to rewarm themselves after, you and I personally, we talk about those kinds of things. So,
right.
So still, yes, better, but to me, still not done safely. Still,
Right. Yeah. And and that's one of those things where if on the one hand, there's you're it's I have respect for anybody, trying to do oh, wait a minute. I made it live again. Hang on a second. I can't hear you. Okay, here we go.
okay.
I always have respect for people who are trying to push the boundaries and things like that. And of course, you know, it's one of those like, well, if people always played it safe, we'd never have any of these new awesome, records and things like that. But at the same time, there is such a thing as being a little daredevilish, and then there's another thing just being reckless, and I think that's what we're seeing here with, especially with that first one. It just looked like it was just him and his girlfriend hanging out. And it's like, hey, I'm gonna cut a hole in the ice and then film me. So it'll be cool content, right? it'll
Sure
be
was.
awesome. It'll be awesome content, and I'll put it up there on TikTok, and it won't be anything. And he almost died doing it, right? And I wonder if it was something like that. It's like, hey, I've been going out, taking an ice bath pretty much regularly. I bet I could swim underneath that ice. That'd be a cool video. I bet I'd get a lot of views and likes for that. And I think sometimes, sadly enough, I mean, we do these things to ourselves. I don't know how many challenges. Of course, YouTube is notorious for having all these challenge, like what was it? What are the challenges? Like the cinnamon like you spoon cinnamon in there.
Yeah, how many cupcakes can you put in your mouth and almost, suffocate yourself?
Right. And like one
Yes.
of them was
Yeah,
like lighting yourself on fire. It
that's
literally
good. That's
was, yeah. I was like,
good.
okay. And that was a thing. That was where people were just lighting. It was like you put like alcohol on your skin and then light yourself on fire. And then ideally, and if you guys in the audience, if you guys know what I'm talking about, I don't remember all the details, but like the dream was that it would just burn the alcohol and then you would like somehow go unscathed. Whenever it's like, no, that's going to burn you, man. Like people had terrible burns because of it, you know? Um, so yeah, anyway, there's a lot of things that we do that we just don't think it through. And I think that's really the essence. And this is something like, I talk about it in my cold training book. And actually the reason why I wrote that cold training book was literally because I kept on hearing about so many people having these issues, right? And the thing is, there is a certain, there's a balance, in everything we look for this balance, because like there's part of us that's like, I'm going to do something that nobody else seems to believe is sane, right? Because I mean, you and we go out and we're doing these things that people are like, you're going to kill yourself, you know? And it's like, well, no, I'm in control. And there's a difference, right? Between being in control and like going over the edge. And I think a lot of it has to do with perception, because a lot of people, I remember whenever I told people, yeah, I'm going to go uh, train with Wim Hof and I'm going to climb a mountain bare chested in Colorado in the Rocky Mountains in the snow. And I said this at the yoga studio before yoga. And there was this one doctor that was there who later became one of my most faithful students. And she's like, you are going to kill yourself. That is a terrible idea. And it was like, well, yeah, if you weren't training for it, if you weren't practicing some safety, it can be a terrible idea. And there was a story about people trying to do the Snezka climb and they didn't take safety bags,
Mm,
right? And so Snezka is insanely cold. It's not that tall, but it's really, really cold. And there can be winds that are just like 40 miles an hour there. And it can be really, really treacherous. And there was a group of people that they just tried to walk up it in their shorts, but they didn't have the safety, right? So they didn't have backpacks with their clothes and their warm stuff. and they had to get medevaced out of there. And I was like, man, someone needs to put this down. So that's why I wrote the ebook, just kind of some basic rules. But I think it all comes down to, um, being aware, right? First of all, awareness.
Part of it for me is now that I know that there's so many ways to die and not have like a cool death, because that's nothing cool about the
Yeah, people, that would be one of those like, what did you expect, right?
that's what we were that's what we were like thinking to ourselves when we saw that. We're kind of like, yeah, we can see right away all the things this person's doing wrong. So
Right.
like, the first question I ask myself now when I do things that are higher risk, medium to high risk, Marie, what's your goal?
There you go. I love that. Yeah.
What's your desired outcome, and why do you want it? Why do you think that this is the one thing that you need to do to create some kind of, resolution inside yourself? Like, what's your goal? Why do you want to do this? What do you want the outcome to be? And what's your safety plan? What's your, if everything goes wrong, this is what I'm prepared for plan? And of course I didn't do that when I was younger, but yeah, you and I, we lived.
Somehow we lived through it, right?
I've done I'm not even going to repeat in public all the things that I've done that I could have lost arms and legs. I could have,
Yeah.
oh, just the dumb, dumb, dumb things. Dumb. And on top of the dumb things I actually did consciously, all the things that I came into contact with, you know, through no fault of my design, things that
Yeah.
just crazy life, random stuff. And those
Yeah.
didn't
Oh,
feel
yeah.
good either. So
Life
now,
is dangerous enough, just the way it is, right?
yeah. Yes, it can be. Just to get home in one piece now is the Olympics of life. But um, listen, it's challenging enough. We really do have to have some kind of safety plan in place. Oh, by the way, forget even all that. Forget about this whole video. Even
Oh,
just breathing and a regular cold shower, or just a regular ice bath in your house, which is way safer because you
yes.
control your environment. Even then, you still need safety protocol. You need structure.
Right.
You need to plan. You need to know what you're doing.
There's a comment over here. I think is a good comment here. JCC Piano Studio. He says these challenges speak to how out of touch our um, the culture is with introspection and responsibility. And right, because
Yeah.
just exactly to the point you're making, right? Even in your own home, you need to be responsible. It's very easy. I mean, I've given myself after drop in the convenience of my own home, right?
Yeah.
I remember the
Every
first
time.
the first time I had after drop
Yeah.
from, it was early in my practice, and it was from cold showers, and it was just some January cold showers, 10 minutes long. And I got out of there, and it was light after drop. But it was the
Yeah.
kind of after drop where you just didn't feel warm no matter what. And for an hour or two afterwards, you just felt the chills. And my wife was like, I thought you're supposed to like be training how to train with the colds, like, and you're here shivering. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on.
The
But
first time I did it,
uh,
it was only the couple times I did it, of course, in my own place.
yeah,
I think it was just for half an hour each time, but you lesson learned. I mean,
uh,
lesson learned on the third time. Of course, I would be surprised if you said, yes, Marie, last week I gave myself after drop. Like, you would
right, yeah.
wouldn't do that now, but those are the things that you want to learn. If you're going to do it in the beginning. And yeah, here's another thing, because I love the viewer who commented
Hmm.
100 years ago. I read this somewhere, but I'm sure it's true.
I
100
mean, I
years
mean, if you
ago,
read it, I mean, it was in
if
words, right?
if you put 10 people out in the woods, nine will come back alive.
Yeah. Okay.
10 people out in the woods today,
Oh yeah.
one would probably come
Yeah.
back alive,
Yeah.
because we don't know how to handle ourselves out in the woods anymore.
You're right. We're really disconnected. And the funny thing is that we don't, I mean, the woods is our natural habitat. I mean, like our species originated in nature, right? And that was our natural habitat, but we've been deconditioned to live in it. And now it's like, well, if I'm not in my home, if it's not temperature controlled house and food that is at a store where I just get everything. I can get all the micros and macros at the same. I mean, it's wonderful. I mean, it's great, but it has made us soft in many ways. No, you're absolutely right. And the thing is, I will say this: I've had, I've pushed myself too hard in many times training, and I think that's something that a lot of people have experience with, especially whenever you've been doing it for a while. There's generally those times whenever, man, I've been doing this a while and I'm going to see how far I can go, but that's where like I really do say, okay, if you're going to push yourself, that's whenever those safety precautions are more important than ever.
I have a
But
question for you.
yeah.
Have you ever trained yourself in like by working out to the point where you've like puked?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
And it's one of those things where I don't even know. It was not a good day to begin with. It was one of those days whenever.
Saturday morning.
Well, no, it wasn't like that. It was. Yeah, I was puking when I got there, and I was puking the whole way. No, but it was one of those types of days where, I don't remember exactly, but I do remember it was one of those things where I didn't go into it with an empty stomach. Right, I had some stuff on my stomach, and it was a leg intensive weight training
Oh,
day, and
big
yeah.
muscles.
Oh God. And that was it's the worst kind of nausea to have whenever it's like exercise induced, just because it's like,
When is nausea good?
well, that's true. Okay, that's true. But sometimes you puke and you feel better. But like
Oh
whenever
yeah.
it was exercise induced, it was like I puked and I'm like, oh, I just want to die. And like literally, I would have paid anything just to pass out until, go into a coma, like a medically induced coma, until I no longer feel that terribleness. But yeah, I've only done it one time. I've seen some people just do it a lot. Some
Well,
people,
I
yeah.
had I have something to say about that
Mm.
because I don't know if you were ever a trainer in a gym. I think you.
I've never been like worked for a gym specifically. I
Yeah.
trained some people with personal training, but it's one of those things where I'm not actually working at the gym.
So
It's
yeah, I
six
was
of
a.
one, half a dozen of another.
Well, you've been in that environment, so I'm sure you've seen it happen. But I worked for quite a few gyms back in the day. I was a certified trainer for probably about 15 years, and in some gyms, I was the only trainer that didn't train people to puking, because the trainers thought that it was really cool if they
Oh
got
my God.
clients to hurl because they felt then they did a good job, and I'm kind of like, wow. That's really wild. Like, wow. Okay. So, and I don't know. I don't want to call it an age thing because I was
Yeah.
a little bit older there, but I have a feeling it was kind of like, the bros, and it was
That's
like
a hubris thing,
the
right? That's a
bros
like
trainers.
an
Yeah.
ego. It's really something that you kind of, hey, I made so and so cry today.
That's what they tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, and I think there's a value in challenging a person to do something that they don't want to do. Right. And anytime you have a client and how it is whenever it's those last few reps or something like that. But yeah, I mean, how long you're going to, first of all, if my coach is making me puke every time I go, how many times am I going to go to that coach?
It
Like,
doesn't matter if you get results. That's what they were saying. Like
yeah,
they were
and you're
saying,
not going to. You're not. If you're overexerting yourself like that, if you're causing yourself to have that bad of a dysfunction while every workout, think about how you're going to recover from. Like you're in this insane hyper fight or flight state to the point where you had to, your body believed, I better just puke everything I have out of me. And there's probably something poisonous down there. I don't know. But I mean, what are you doing?
Well,
And that's another one where getting to
yeah.
where you're insanely sore too, where it's like the goal is to get sore. Um, while I do oftentimes, I'm like, oh, I must have really, well, it worked out really well last time.
Oh yeah,
But
your pecs.
well,
Yeah.
of course, with the pecs, I'm always going to go, oh yeah, But where it's like any muscle, right? Oh, I'm a little sore there. I never was able to get those big old biceps. Okay, you guys with the short arms. See, my arms are just too long. It stretches out. That's my excuse.
Well, listen, to the bros' defense,
Okay.
they did see results, and
Okay.
and the hurling was a mutual understanding that it was a badge of honor back in the day. Now I'm going to tell you, firstly, these
Yep.
conversations happened in the early 2000s,
Okay.
before kettlebells were actually really a thing, and before, Spartan racing was really, got mainstream,
Yeah. I mean, in the
and
early
before there
2000s, that wasn't
yeah,
really
before there
around.
was kind of like less options. If you were outside, you were running, and if you were lifting weights, then it was an indoor thing. Whereas now, I mean, there's so many more choices that it's not as limited. But in the the sausage factory that we worked in, these chains, and the whole culture around that anyway was its own thing. And so
Hmm.
for a small demographic, Red Bull, like high energy caffeine, pre-workout
Hmm.
drinks, like all those things. I'm not sure how popular that still is with the general population, but back then it was a big deal. Like, you weren't anybody unless you did a pre-workout
Yeah.
like stack.
Yeah.
So
Well, I remember, and I have to admit that I started. What was the beta alanine that makes you feel like you're tingly? Did you ever try that stuff?
probably one time because someone gave it to me, but
Oh,
that's not
I
my
was so hooked
thing.
on that. I was like, oh, I can feel it working. Yeah,
No.
I
Oh,
mean, I'm not saying I'm immune to all of this stuff. And sometimes I'll even do. A lot of times I'm like, well, I probably shouldn't caffeinate so much, but man, today I just need to. Those
this
kinds of
is
things.
one last
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Today is my last time. I'm just gonna stop. Tomorrow I'm not gonna do it at all. But yeah.
Yeah.
But
So I
now,
mean,
okay. So there's a comment. It sounds like certain kind of sickness within the fitness culture. Well, you could say that. You could, and it really within the fitness culture. I think just like with anything, there are these. There are some of like ultimately uh misconceptions as to like the puking part isn't really you know there's a certain degree. Are you pushing yourself 100%? Are you giving 100%? That's really the goal. If you're going into a workout to give yourself, okay, I'm giving it 100% today, awesome. But yeah, the puking part, I don't know if that really does anything other than proves to the bro that yeah, see, I gave 100% right there on the floor.
well,
One time I was in jujitsu, and that was the last time I saw a guy puke because of overexertion. And the joke was like, man, we were like, coach, I'm sorry, we haven't puked even once for you. We, he's like, he's like, hey, is that too much to ask, guys? It was a joke. It was kind of like, I don't know. But anyway,
let's just say it's a certain, like, without getting into, gender roles, because this is so not where I want to go with this. This is not the conversation that I want to, even when it comes to, ice swimming accidents. Like, I
yeah.
don't want to say that I'm not going to go there. But
Ah,
I'm not going to
well,
go there.
I'll go there. I'll go there and say that yeah, I think there's a lot of machismo sometimes that comes into it, and it's like bragging about scars, right? That's a thing that guys like to do as well. So I don't know. Anyway, getting back to the cold training though. When it comes down to cold training, it's kind of a similar thing, right? There's no good that comes from pushing yourself to after drop. However, it as a cold trainer, a person who, you and I, we train people in the cold. I think it is. I think if you train enough, you're going to have it happen. Just out of that's one of the things you're going to learn is how to listen to your body, right? The interoception is something you'll learn, and eventually you're like, oh, okay, I didn't listen to this little voice last time, and so then this happened, and so I'm going to listen to that voice next time. There's that. I remember. I actually, what I'll say is that for a cold trainer, I think it's important to know what it feels like so that you can help others not feel it so much. Because if you've only heard about it like it's the boogeyman, and if you're not really familiar with it, you may not really understand the fullness of how it can turn bad fast, like really fast. And what is it in Celsius? It's what it is, 37 degrees, the body temperature. Is it 37?
Almost 39,
39. Okay.
30 something, 39. I don't know.
Well,
I
I'll switch. I'm gonna stay in Fahrenheit because that's the only thing I'm really comfortable with. And right now, and this audience teases me for being lame like that.
somebody who's listening, do the math for us, because I don't care too much about, like, I'm more of a feeling person, and I know that I usually have to pull out a thermometer to double check. I think it's 39.4 or something like
And
that.
there's even recent research to show that this number changes and is different for each individual. But typically, in Fahrenheit, you're about 98 degrees. But if you go down even just like 3 or 4 degrees, I mean,
Mm.
you're
Mm.
that's core. If you get your core body temperature just a few degrees, that is so deadly, right? You can be hypothermic, and the problem about being hypothermic is that you're gonna feel warm. And and this is something you won't believe it until it happens, and then it's too late. But whenever you're out in the cold, okay, so you feel the initial shock of the cold, and then you kind of, or like, you calm down, you get into uh, a nice, good state. The cold never stops feeling cold. It's just that you can focus, you can maintain. But then there's going to come a time whenever the cold starts to really feel cold, and you're like, oh my God, your body starts uncontrollably shivering. At that point, you've stayed too far.
Yeah,
But
it's too late. Yeah.
and I mean, you and I both know this. And I remember whenever I did my very first, it was one of my very first natural stream cold exposures. I had been doing cold showers every day, 10 minutes, and it was about 45 Fahrenheit, which is, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this because I can. That's 13, and then divide by 2. And that is, what is that? 6.5, approximately 6.5 or 7 Celsius, maybe 6, between 6 or 7 Celsius. I think. I know. I really don't know. But anyway, that's pretty cold, right? That's pretty cold. 6 or 7 Celsius.
Yeah, like under 5 degrees Celsius would be considered ice water, and the between 5 and 0 is like the coldest that you can really,
Okay. So
for the
it
cold
was
receptors in your body to respond properly. It's like 15 to 12, 12 to 10 or 12 to 5, and then 5 to 0.
okay. So that was what was happening in my shower. And then I went out to a creek, and I told my brother-in-law, I was like, time me. And first of all, it's my brother-in-law, so I kind of wanted to impress him. And then I was also like, well, hey, how often do I get to go out to these creeks and this natural beauty? I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to make sure I get my whatever's worth, right? And it was running water that was much colder than what I was used to. And about 5 minutes in, I started to really struggle. And I, but I was like, no, I'm staying all 10 minutes.
Mm.
And I got out, and it was like maybe a minute after I got out. Um, it was like all of my energy just got zapped. It was just like, I was heavy. I was disoriented. Um, it was just awful. The worst after drop. And honestly, I probably was mildly hypothermic at that point, because what had happened was when I was in the water, I started feeling like, oh, I've adapted. I'm warm again. I'm feeling
Oh,
warmer
no.
again. And that, I mean, I didn't realize how bad of a sign that was. I was like, cool. I've adapted. And I just could not warm up. I did blankets. I actually went and tried to do everything I knew how to do, but I just kind of had to wait it out. And fortunately, a few hours later, I was kind of back in the realm of living. But the problem is when you do that to yourself, it's like trauma, right? And like, even though you intellectually know, okay, I'm going to be smarter next time, just the cold itself is kind of scary. Like there's this internal thing. So, you know, I don't know. Anyway, but that's the sort of thing that whenever I train people in the cold, like, and for instance, in my ebook, like my whole goal is so that people don't have to suffer, like that again.
Yeah, it's not the gym version of throwing up, everyone.
Hmm.
We don't want to we don't want to try to see what it's like, honestly. I mean, I'll bet you, Jesse, that you actually had every single time that you had after drop, and I can speak for myself for sure. I didn't plan it, and it was something
Yeah.
that I wasn't looking to challenge. It just happened with because
Right.
I was inexperienced, and yeah, people can describe it, and you don't want that. You don't want it. You don't want it for your friends. You don't want to know. Like, you honestly don't want to know. It makes it
No.
harder to it just if you have plans after, you can't make plans, you can't, now you're doing this thing, you won't get that time back. It's just not a good use of time, and it's really, of course, all of us, because we have egos, we have brains, and our head and our brain perceives that we're more, you know, we can take these risks. Our body really has the intelligence to put the brakes on for us.
Yes.
Like, it will stop you, and sometimes it'll stop you by this kind of massive uncomfortability. And then you must listen because your body's going to force you to listen. You don't really want to learn that way. I mean, it's just better to go easy. Track your times if you really want to. Go slow. Start with 15, 30-second increments, like 15-second increments, 30-second increments. Start really slow and build up so that your body has enough time, just like exercise, just like lifting weights, to be able to adapt from the inside out. Don't think that a blanket's going to help you, or warm tea, or, and for God's sakes, don't ever take a hot shower after that. That's like
Right.
the worst thing that you can do, so for safety. And so this person, getting back to the dip, I mean, we saw a whole long list of things that they could have added or they could have implemented that they didn't, which resulted in what you saw. Resulted in having them have everything go sideways, and then obviously learning and then doing it again a little bit differently, but there was still a lot of room for improvement.
And that's not the first video I've seen of a person almost dying under the ice. I've seen other videos where people try to do that same stunt. And like one time, the guy was trying to break the ice by standing up through it, which, if you can't break the ice from standing on it, you're not going to be able to break the ice in the other way. And he was just, you could tell he was like, boom, boom. And like people were trying to hammer and save the guy. And fortunately, eventually he got out, and it was like through one of the holes. It's just, one of the things. You're not just playing with the cold at that point. You're also playing with, suffocation, with drowning at that point.
Your
You
body's
know,
not an axe.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And even if the cold, even if it wasn't just, even if the water was warm, or lukewarm or whatever, you're dealing with a lot of things all at once. And the cold, actually, in that case, the cold was one of the things, probably one of the most minor issues
Mm.
in that stunt, except for the first time. The first time, of course, your retinas freeze, right? And that was actually, Wim Hof. He had that happen to him whenever he was setting his records. His retinas froze. He couldn't find the exit, and so eventually they had to pull him out. But but there's a lot of things that, especially when you've never done it before, and so that's like a lot of times the most dangerous things, the times whenever we get hurt the most, or when we have the worst overall responses, are whenever we are trying something new. And so that's why I'm always like, okay, just take it slow. Just like weight training, right? You don't go in there and do a clean and press on your first day, right? There's technique. You have to learn that. It's muscle memory and things like that. It's like, okay, that's a little bit more advanced. Let's try some push-ups today, right? Let's and then we work our way up. And so like, and of course, in most of the Americas right now, or at least the Northern Hemisphere in the Americas, we're coming into spring, so you probably won't have much more snow or anything like that. I don't know, but of course, weather's weird, but you probably won't have it. But it's not like you have to wait until it's deathly freezing outside to go outside and get a little cold training. My best advice, and this is the advice I keep telling everybody. People say, Jesse, I see these videos of you and you're walking barefoot in the snow, but then I went out and tried it yesterday and I just don't know how you do it. Is it some magic trick? Like, did you breathe a certain way to make your feet, capable? And like, no, dude, but I walk outside every day barefoot, like, even if it's warm, right? And so what you're doing is it's not like it's magic. It is magical in the way that it's amazing that our bodies are capable of adapting. Like there's no machine ever invented that can adapt like the human body. It's just insane. And like, just simply like going, like, for instance, building muscle, the overcompensation that is like, okay, now I could grow the amount of muscle that I need to get exactly what we've been training with. But you know what? I think I probably should just overcompensate and get a little bit more. Let's build some tissue there. Like that's insane. That's incredible. There's every reason to look at it as a miracle, but you also have to give it time for that miracle to happen. And so training slowly, methodically, that's what it's all about. Let's see if we have some questions. I know you've got to get out of here around
10 minutes. I have a question I'm going to pass to you from someone who asked me this really, really brilliant question. Yeah, everyone, if you have questions, just type them in and we'll answer them. Or if we don't get to them today, I know that Jesse will answer. So someone said to me, I was trying to explain, hey, come to my class. I have online classes. I breathe. We do breathing meditation. Super awesome, super fun. She said, so is this something like autoerotic asphyxiation? These breath holds. And I thought, wow, in all the years that I've been teaching this, and all the years that I've been teaching breath and meditation, no one's ever asked me this question. I thought, cool, this is someone that knows nothing about what we're doing and is comparing it to the only thing that they know about when it comes to holding breath. I thought that's actually kind of a smart question in a way, because they're trying to put together in their mind why we would want to hold our breath when they know nothing about it and all they know is bad stuff. So I'm gonna volley this question over to you, Jesse, so that you can. I already answered her, but I explained it. But I want you to explain for anyone who's listening that would never feel comfortable asking that question. What's the difference between tying something around your neck and almost
well, from my extensive experience in autoerotic asphyxiation, just got done a minute ago, just got a belt and but basically, actually, what's funny is that was one of the first questions that I was asked whenever I started practicing breath work. Really? Especially because I was doing, and people, it was funny. The very first things people asked me about breath work were sexual. And so it was like, is this like tantra, or is this like autoerotic asphyxiation? I can't say it right now. Asphyxiation. There it is. So yeah. So basically I was asked the sexual stuff first, and they're like, and not to mention, they thought that pretty much everything I do, they're just like, is it some kind of a perverted thing? Like they were, because whenever I started going to the gym and working out, they're like, okay, that's a sexual thing that you're trying to,
everyone, there's a difference between BDNF and BDSM. Big difference.
So huge. And I'll leave it to you to explain the difference here in a minute.
Another episode with us, not today.
Right. But no, now I will say this. I will say this. Here comes actually the talk. I'm gonna give you a little talk about how your sex life and how it is related to breath work. Um, but there's but I'm not gonna really I'm not gonna talk about autoerotic. But the thing is, there are the, man, now I don't want to talk about it. I'm like, how am I gonna approach this?
Hurting from laughing.
Yeah. Well, the point is, you're not trying to get an enormous orgasm from doing breath work necessarily. There are breathing techniques that can enhance these things. Here's a simple trick. Okay, a little simple trick for everybody to try this weekend. Okay, literally the easiest way to apply breath work to your sex life. When you're about to arrive, take a big deep breath and hold your breath. Enjoy. And don't think about me, okay? Think about who you're with, but like I don't want you to be like say out loud, "Oh, thanks, Jesse," because that will make it awkward. Okay? That will no one needs that to happen, and I won't be flattered. I'll be like, "Oh, come on, man."
Thank God this is your channel and not mine, because you have to answer to these people next week, and I can just not. I don't have to.
I probably will get a bunch of like, "Oh, well, tell me a little bit more about that." But
It's my fault because I brought it up. But listen, everyone.
yeah, it was all your fault. You brought that to my channel.
I brought dirty topics. Nice.
Yeah. We're going. I think we approached it as I mean, I don't think we went blue with that. We stayed pretty much above the current, so, but anyway, so where do you go from this? Where though? I mean, okay. In other news, what are you up to? I know you got to get out of here in a minute. What are you up to? Where can people find you? Where can they follow you? Where can they breathe with you? Because you do breath work.
Okay. So yeah, check this out, everyone. You can go to mariebodine.com, and right at the bottom of my website, there's a place to send me a question, not related to anything we've talked about today.
A lot of this is all sex questions.
Nothing. No. So don't send me anything in the mail. Don't.
No pics.
No, none of this. No photos. I don't want any of that. However, if you want to send me a question, you can send me a question there. You can also, on my website, there is a button for all kinds of different things, health related and breathing related. There's an Eventbrite page where you can sign up for classes. I'm spending some time on Clubhouse right now, connecting with people in the
that's awesome.
The vets, the military people. Because we want to get those people breathed. We want to have some more balance in their lives when they're stressed, and that's what I'm spending time on now. Working with, I'm having some conversations with certain organizations that are going to help people now that they're retired veterans. That was my goal since the beginning, anyway. So now it's finally happening. We're starting the conversation at least, and hopefully in a few months we'll actually have some of these people being helped, or should I say, it's supported. And so, weekly classes. I have a new class that I just started for university students and gamers.
Oh, cool.
Right, because I have a friend that used to breathe with me and then write exams, and she aced them every time. So
there's research to support that.
Yeah, so
go with
I
the
thought, well, let's just
science.
put a class together and have some banging music for students, banging in the best way, not what we were talking about.
we were like, I was like, okay, we've made it past the sex
Almost
stuff, but we got to bring it right back. Oh, Marie, she's gonna bring it right back.
So really like rock and music, place and it's a box breath class. So any age, there's no breath holds. You don't have to be 18 or over to participate. Cool. Box breathing is just going to allow you to have more coherence between your heart and your brain, where you can focus and work on school. And then obviously the gaming community is hugely stressed. They probably don't get enough sunshine. So all that stuff is on Eventbrite. But of course you can follow me at Instagram, marie.bodine. If you can't find me, because I'm a little bit elusive, but ask Jesse questions. And if he wants to send questions my way, we can do that. This is a huge community, everyone that just wants to help everyone and support everybody. And that's why we're here. We're here to educate. We're here to support. We're also here to have fun, which is why we have these
Yeah.
conversations. We're not, I'm not, I'm not all about being all like sciencey without having a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Having
What's
fun
the
doing that.
use
What's the
if you're not
point?
having fun?
Yeah, gotta have some fun.
So absolutely. Well, I want to thank you for being here. I'm going to stick around
Yeah.
and answer some of these questions, but Marie, always a pleasure. I'll look forward to the next random thing you send me with a question mark or like a like a WTF or
Right.
so hey, you have a good
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, and we'll see you. We'll see you really soon. Peace out, everyone.
absolutely. Peace. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
So, hey guys, I'm going to go ahead and answer some questions. If you have any further questions, you can. I think there were some questions early on. I saw something about an alligator. I don't know. Okay, Tony, I'm not sure if you're still on, but I'll be happy to answer your questions now. And then hey, it's Friday. It's a beautiful Friday. It's a beautiful Friday. Hopefully, you guys have amazing plans for this. It's a 3-day weekend for a lot of us, so that's awesome. And let's see. Okay, so Tony asks the question, not a cold water related question. That's fine. That's fine. Now it's freestyle. I will say this is open swim. This is open swim. Not a cold water related question. I jumped in and swam across a river with a friend while canoeing and seeing tons of alligators. We survived and then tried to get as close as possible to a massive alligator. Okay. I'm not sure if this is a question. I think this is just a story of harrowing escape from an alligator. Okay, so an alligator on the other side of the riverbank. In between that, my friend caught a snake with his bare hand. Looking back on that, stupid, haha. Well, yeah, okay, Tony. It sounds like you and your friend, you're just going for all the dangerous reptiles all at once. And hey, why not? Why not? Let's just let's just let it happen. Let's see here. And then V's Thomas, it's talking about Brave New World. Yeah, you never know. Brave New World. That's one of those books that a lot of people point to a lot of the time. And hey, it's a really good book. Let's see here. Any other questions? All right. So don't fall in love with the alligator. One guy did. His wife left him because he was too obsessed with an alligator. Well, that would be unfortunate. Anyway, guys, I am opening up. Actually, I just recently opened up the 6-week online breath mastery course that is open right now. We're going to be starting April 21st, and that is going to be covering really all the main aspects of breath work. So when I say this, it's a course that's really good for beginners, but it's not for just like if you just want to stay a beginner. Once you're done with this course, you're going to understand breath work like really well. And it doesn't really make, like, regardless of what the technique that you want to try, whatever techniques that you find out about in the future, you're going to understand the principles that all of breath work works on. So it's a 6-week course. It starts April 21st and it goes every week. We meet on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and each session lasts about 2 hours. And it's not just sitting here taking notes. We do a lot of experiential stuff. There's a lot of guided breath work involved. I think, Brandon, were you on the last one? I don't remember if you were in that last cohort or if any of you guys that are here were in that last cohort. But basically, what it is essentially, we did this for the first cohort was for my first beta, and I'm really experimenting with delivery, how to deliver these things, just because I want to get the message out. And sometimes technology is great. Sometimes it's a bit obtrusive. The first one went really, really well. We had about 52 people involved, and it really was great. But there were some technological things that I was like, oh, maybe we can straighten this up. I have a team working with me now, the best team I could ever ask for. They're just really great guys, and great sense of humor, and just really awesome people. They are helping me put this all together. And so the way it's going to work, I'm using a platform called GuruCan, and we're kind of easing our way into this platform. The cool thing is it's all in one spot. So whenever you sign up, you get instant access to basically some bonus material. And I teach you some basics on how to sit, really how to sit when it comes to breath work. Go through some of the positions and just the basics of those positions, and then how to prepare for the 6-week class. So there's a little bit of a shopping list that it's not a long shopping list, and you may already have everything you already need. I just let you know these are some of the tools we're going to use, because the point is to learn your own physiology. Because the reality is that if I told you, like I did an episode on my daily breath work routine, and literally I could say, do exactly what I do, and you may not have the same results. You might get better results. You might not get as good. It's different for everybody. So what we do is we learn all of the different aspects of breath work. What happens whenever you inhale? What happens whenever, where should you put the breath? What is the right cadence to do this particular style with? Or what happens to you specifically whenever you do this particular breathing, this aspect of breathing? And we're going to test these things, because you'd be surprised how a lot of it is similar for a lot of people, but some people are like, it's totally different. So like some of these things are for some aspects of breath, and we're talking about some of the fundamental things as far as an inhale and exhale, a breath hold with full lung, breath hold with a neutral lung, a breath hold with a negative pressure lung. Some of those things, people actually have different responses, and I teach you how to test yourself. And that's just one of the many things that we cover in the course. So I'm really excited about it. If you're in the Patreon club, you get a huge discount if you've already bought any of my books. So if you bought my cold training book or my breathwork book, you get $25 off. All you have to do is just put the first 8 characters from the back of the book. There's a secret code at the back of the book. It's not secret now, I guess, but there is a code at the back of both of the books. They'll get you $25 off on your entry into the course. Cool thing is, it's 6 weeks. That's 12 hours of training with me. So there's a lot of value there that if you were to try to get one-on-one time with me for 12 hours, that would be much more than the price, which is $399 for all 6 weeks. And then you get access to guided breathing sessions, because we actually have homework in this course. So it's not like it's homework where it sucks, right? It's homework where it's like, okay, this is what we're doing, and this is what you should be doing this week, so you're ready for next week. So anyway, that's going on. Tony, thanks so much for being here. Enjoy. Yes, in May, I'll see you at Spear. Awesome. That is great to hear. Let's see here. So anyway, so that is going on. And then some of you guys are signed up for the North Carolina Wim Hof Method Weekend. It's booked. It's sold out. So if you're not signed up, I'm sorry. But if you're not signed up, if you missed out on the North Carolina event this month, I just got off the phone with Rob before I got on to this live. And so we've decided to have a Wim Hof Method Weekend in May. So let me just give you the dates, and then you can, I think it's on wimhofmethod.com. If you look for Rob Linfesti, I'm letting him take care of all the ticketing on that one. Normally here's the thing. And it's, Rob, if you're watching, I don't mind, but normally I'm just like, oh, well, I just always take care of all the ticketing. And then but this time I'm just saying, Rob, and he was cool with it. He's like, yeah, I'll take care of the ticketing. So next month, literally it just got on the schedule. So it's probably on wimhofmethod.com under Rob Linfesti. If you look, it's May 15th and 16th. So May 15th and 16th. So that's coming right up. That's really right around the corner. It's a little over a month from now. If you want, and the cool thing is, like, we're talking spring in this, like, this is the most beautiful location in North Carolina. Is absolutely gorgeous. We're going to do breath work outside. We're going, and we're talking about doing, well, of course, we're going to do power breathing in April too. And for both of these events, we're going to try to find a perfect spot to do power breathing, like in nature, like under the trees with the mountains and oh, it's going to be awesome. So that is coming up. And then also he and I are working. I'm just going to let you guys know on the recording. Some people will never get to this far into the recording of this. So those of you guys who are still here for the live, let me give you a little secret as far as what Rob and I are working on. We're actually working on a retreat in July. So this will be, this is not Wim Hof Method. This is going to be called the Convergence Retreat. And you can't sign up for it yet, but it is going to be on, let's see, where is the Convergence Retreat? July. Yes, it's in July 17th and 18th. It actually starts Friday, July 16th, and then it goes the 17th, which is Saturday, and then it goes till Sunday, which is the 18th. And this is going to be a culmination of a lot of things. So we're going to do a lot of deep breath work. We're going to do heat therapy. We're going to do cold therapy. We're going to do nature, like foraging in nature. So Rob is like this awesome naturalist, and so you're going to go out and find some parts of your dinner in nature, and actually be able to add it to your dinner that day. We're going to be doing some yoga, some bonfires, some jam sessions. Cacao probably will be involved. Natural this and that. I mean, it's going to be really, really awesome. And again, that is coming up, and you can't sign up for it just yet, but it will be on July 17th and 18th. So maybe put that on your calendars, and I'm going to have Rob on here, not next, well, maybe it's either next week or the week after that. He and I are going to talk about it some more. So let's see if there's some other questions that kind of popped up. Let's see here. Let's see. Yes, Brandon, this is going to be great with that breath mastery course. So I'm looking forward to that. Samuel John, what are your thoughts on icing feet and hands or getting cold if you don't have an ice bath? Oh man, you can do cold training without an ice bath. And really, ice baths, you know, there's a certain, you don't really, if you really wanted to, you would never have to take an ice bath to see benefits to cold training. It's just that to see the JCC Piano Studio real quick, the July retreat will be in North Carolina. So it's a place called Mandala Springs. Just look it up. Actually, if you look up Mandala Springs, I believe there's pictures of the property, and I'm going to have Rob on, and he's going to show us around the property. Actually, when I go, I'm going to be there later this month, and we're going to do a YouTube live. So we'll show you guys around the property too. And that will be, we're going to do that together on the 16th of this month. Our YouTube live will be together. And so I will literally have just arrived from like an 8-hour drive, 8 or 9 hours of driving, but it's like the most beautiful drive in the world. And it's out in the Appalachian Mountains, and we'll show you around. So that's where that's going to be. Oh, I'm back to the question. I apologize. I got sidetracked. But okay. So the question is, if you can't do an ice bath, is there any benefit to the hands or the feet? Or first of all, just taking a cold shower, even if it's not a incredibly cold shower, is going to give you benefits. Okay. And maybe you don't get the same degree of benefits as you might get if you get a little colder of a shower or a little longer of a shower that is cold. You can still see benefits from taking a cold shower, even not that cold, right? Even if it's in the 60s, that you're still going to see some benefits. The main benefits of cold exposure, usually you're going to need to get down below right around 50 Fahrenheit or below there. What is that? That is let's see, is that 18 divided by 2 is 9, around 9 or 10 degrees Celsius. That's kind of like a good spot. But like you, even if it's not that cold, even if it's not that quite that cold, you can get benefits. And not all of the benefits are just physiological. I think the most underrated benefit of cold exposure is the psychological. There's some people that live in almost tropical environments and they still take hot showers, even though the water coming out of their shower probably is 70 degrees, Fahrenheit, which is, oh, I'm not going to do the conversion. But basically, it's almost room temperature, right? It's as if it's room temperature water, but they still take a hot shower because, ooh, I don't want to get that cold. Well, pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone and doing that voluntarily, there's an enormous amount of value to that. So I can't express that enough, that you don't have to take ice baths. Now, if you wanted to, hands and feet in like ice water is fantastic for that same reason. You're doing something uncomfortable and you're learning to deal with pain. You're learning to deal with discomfort. And there is an enormous value to that psychologically. You're also going to work out the vascularity in your extremities and improve your circulation there. So that's a benefit too. Now, to get some of the bigger benefits of cold exposure, you're going to need to expose your entire body and challenge the homeostatic state of your body temperature. So that you do need to provide a challenge there to get the bigger benefits, like the immune system boost and things like that. That's typically what most of the research shows. But there's all kinds of benefits to challenging yourself, challenging your comfort. Let's see here. So let's keep going here. Awesome. I'd love to see you out there, Brandon. I think you would, Brandon, if you, I'm just saying, you would be in heaven. Brandon Jackson, he lives in a place where there's already a lot of natural beauty. And it is not very far from where I live. And so you would just absolutely love it. Tony says, are you still teaching as a professor? And are you doing this full time now? So I still do teach as a professor. So yes. So I'm insanely busy. And so right now is kind of a interesting time in my life where I'm not sure where my future holds, where it's going. I am still searching and deciding and wondering where that is. I love everything that I do, but there's only so much of me and there's only so much of my bandwidth that I can offer. I have a family and I want to be there for them. And there's an enormous amount of demand right now for me to travel. And that's something that you can't always do when you have a day job. So I don't know what's going to go on. So, but I tell you what, you guys will know whenever I know, because I'll just tell you. Let's see here. Yeah, the microbiome that's going to be in, that you're going to see, Brandon, in this place. And Rob's really good about explaining that. He's a nature guide, or he's certified in a lot of things, and he's just one of the smartest guys you're going to meet. And he's the kind of smart that is also like from the heart too, right? It's not just book knowledge, it's experience, it's like passion. This is why I like working with him. So yeah, I think you would really enjoy that. And that's where the July retreat is going to be, JC. So, okay, I already answered that. Oh, Rusty, you are so late. Rusty's late. Oh, you missed the interview, but that's okay. That's okay. You know what? Because I am having so much fun right now. And what I really should be doing, I've got video editing to do. I've got to make some guided tracks. I've got Patreon stuff to do for my Patreon members. If you're my Patreon club, I will be working on the new pre-recorded guided breathwork sessions very soon. And of course, we're having our live now. If you're in the breath club, if you're in the Patreon breath club, we do live monthly. We do live breathwork sessions together. So I guide you through. But the cool thing is you can see other people in the tribe and we can breathe together. So I love that. I just love that we have a really cool community that is sprouting up in that Patreon club. And it's a blast. And of course, I'm also working. I should be working on. I'm actually going to do my first merch ever, and it's not going to be like I'm not opening up a clothing store. I had a lot of people request it, so I've got a shirt that I'm designing. I'm just going to do a limited thing. The guys, if you're in the Patreon, you'll get first dibs, and then after that, then everybody else. But let's see here. Okay, so JCC says, sweet, it could pair nicely with visiting a friend and catching up with folks where I used to live in Virginia. Yeah, I mean, make it into a nice long, maybe even a week-long trip. So we all do homework that doesn't suck to get smart from the heart. Oh, smart from the heart. I'm going to steal that, Jonathan. I think that's you, Jonathan. Favorite Jesseism, smart from the heart. Oh, man. Wait a minute. That's a Jesseism. I'm going to steal it for myself. Oh my God. My brain's going to explode. Samuel John, thanks for the answer. I live in a warm climate and the winters ain't that cold, but the shower in the winter is better than the summer. Yeah, absolutely. So, just what I do in the summertime here in Indiana, where I live, the summertime showers, the coldest it'll get is in the 60s in the summertime. So I just take cold only showers. I don't even put the hot water on. And, that's fine. And it gives me a nice little, it's refreshing. In the summertime, the worst part about it is it's much easier to warm up, right? It's easier to put on clothes like in the winter to warm yourself up than it is to cool off in the summertime. It's like, well, what do I do? I can only get so naked, right? So, what I just love taking a cold shower to start my day, even if it's not that cold, but it's like jumping in a swimming pool at that point. And then later on, maybe I'll do a more extreme cold exposure. I tell you what, summer sessions, if you can come to a workshop like a Wim Hof Method workshop or anything where we're going to be doing cold exposures, I actually like the Convergence retreat that we're doing in July. July is a great time because it's super hot. But if you want to do cold training, the nice thing about it is it feels so refreshing to get into an ice bath in the wintertime or in the summertime. It's just like, it's just so you get in there. And then when you get out, it's almost like indoor air conditioning because you've cooled yourself and you're just kind of like, oh man, this feels great. And it's not a challenge at all to warm yourself up after that. In fact, when I don't know if I'm sure I've talked about this before because I talk a lot, but but whenever I really am in the mood to push myself in the ice, I do it in the summertime, not in the wintertime. Now, I'm not saying that I don't push myself in the wintertime a little bit, but I'm a little bit more careful whenever I know that I'm getting out into freezing air as opposed to getting out into, it's summertime heat. I know that it's going to be incredibly easy to warm up after that. So if you're coming to the Chicago event it's in Vernon Hills, but it's a suburb of Chicago. It's going to be nice and hot. And we're going to get in. The cool thing about the Chicago event, if everything goes right, we're going to get into the kiddie pools. So I have a kiddie pool, and so we go in together. So sometimes when you go to events that where there's ice bathing, it's one at a time. But I like communal bathing. I think it's really cool for us all to get in at once. Yeah, so that's and then of course, if you're coming to the North Carolina events, all of the North Carolina events, I'm going to go to North Carolina 3 times. I've committed with Rob. I said, Rob, of course, when you find people you like to work with, then it's like, well, yeah, but it's an 8-hour drive. It's an 8-hour drive for me. But anyway, I'm going to drive out there 3 times between now and July, I guess, because I'll do 2 Wim Hof Method weekends, and then one is the Convergence Retreat, which the Convergence Retreat is going to be a lot of different modalities. We're actually having food catered, so you don't even have to bring your own food. You can if you want to. There'll be camping. There'll be heat therapy. We're going to do heat therapy as well as cold therapy. We're going to do a lot of different styles of breath work, yoga, movement, qigong, uh, hikes in the mountains. I mean, it's just going to be really cool. Brandon, you'll drive. Cool, man. You know what we ought to do is just get just to get a caravan. Like this is the style. And the thing is, the Convergence retreat, what we're going to try to do is make this into, this is really, we're kind of try to make it into an annual event, because there's so much, there, I don't want to pigeonhole anything, right? There's so much to, and really it's like we say a lot of times, we want to stay in a state where we can be playful and we can be experimental and where we can really continue to grow as individuals. There's no age that you should say, oh, okay, I'm just going to stop now, and just kind of experiment and see and just kind of, figure things out. And with Rob, he's got that. Of course, there's a chocolate factory on site too, so need I say more? Let's see. I'm going to catch up with the comments. Let's see. I'm almost out of water. I'm so sad we won't get beanies. Rusty, well, I don't know. Maybe we'll see about doing some beanies. What would we put on the beanies? Would we put like my logo on the beanies, or yeah, Rusty, you're going to be there, aren't you? So that'll be cool. But what would we put my logo? I didn't see that the shirt that I'm designing. I had actually kind of a inspiration for this merch shirt. It's going to be an instructional shirt. I'm not going to say anything more about it because it's kind of a original idea, I think. But yeah, the shirt itself will be instructional. This is why it's taking so long for me to get it done, and why it is harder for me to get it printed right, because I want it to be the right thing. But yeah, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Rob is smart from the heart. Andrew Bright says, sweet, wait, can't wait to hear, to wear my Coomer merch at the North Carolina retreat in July. Yes. Okay. That has to happen, Andrew. That's my goal. I have to make sure to get this out so that everybody can have their shirts, so that when we have the July, the Convergence retreat, that people can actually wear them. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, Rob isn't just smart; he's smart from the heart. Exactly, he is. He is. Yeah, summer ice baths are a lot of fun. They feel great. Lake dips. Oh man, yeah. So Jonathan, JCC Piano Studio, he came to the Sand Valley retreat event we did. It was a Wim Hof Method weekend retreat at Sand Valley Golf Resort in Wisconsin. And I mean, wasn't that awesome? I mean, we all, that was that location. You don't find locations that are that perfect for events very often. And actually next year, if you want, guys, I know a lot of people didn't get to make it to the Wisconsin events. If you want to put that in your calendars, I know it's pretty far off, but if you want to save the dates for 2022, the first one is going to be the weekend of January 7th, 8th, and 9th. And that weekend, we're pretty sure everything's going to be frozen over, snow on the ground. That one is going to be probably the coldest one. But the cool thing is, the one that's going to be in March, we did one just last weekend. Well, was it last weekend or was the weekend before? Everything's blurring together. I think it was just last weekend, wasn't it, JCC? But the one in March is going to be a little earlier in March. It's going to be the 11th, 12th, and 13th. So that for a lot of people works really well because of the spring break. For some people that works really well. But even on the March one, whenever there wasn't snow on the ground, the cool thing is we could all get in the lake together at the same time. Like for both of them, there was really unique benefits to both of them, both of those two different times. So anyway, let's see. Let's see. I got to get rich so I can fly all these private. Yeah, get a private jet. See, just get a private jet. That's the thing, Rusty. Or a helicopter. That would be nice. And just pick everybody up. Um, let's see here. If you've already started, no reason to stop. But there are maybe some questions over whether one can start, though. I'm not sure where you're going with that one, V. Maybe clarify that real quick. But yeah, let's see. That was last weekend, wasn't it? Yeah, man. Oh, you just got back. Okay, JCC, he just got back. Anyway, guys, so a lot of really cool things coming up. I would love to see you guys in the online breath mastery course, or if you know someone who would really private jet. Okay. But yeah, if you know someone who would benefit from the online breath mastery course, really it's all about getting a perfect breathwork practice for yourself. It's just please share that and share the love. This world is going to really need. I mean, we're just now starting to see a lot of the effects from the pandemic. There's a lot of depression, a lot of addiction, a lot of and even those of us who haven't, maybe you're not on the extremes of that. I think we've all been affected. So it's really important to have tools that we can use to improve our lives and make our lives better. In fact, actually, I just noticed that. See that in the back? So this thing in the back here that is a sauna blanket that I just received from, I forget the name of the company, the Heat Healer. So I'm going to be doing a review on this in the near future. I'm all about heat therapy, and I'm not rich enough to have my own sauna. So the gym that I go to, they don't have any of the heat therapy stuff open yet because of all the pandemic and stuff. So this is going to be hopefully a nice replacement. I tried it last night and I got it up to 70 Celsius. I don't know I think it was like 150 Fahrenheit. It's all in Celsius. So who was it that was commenting about my Celsius? Samuel. Thank you for it's very slow how I'm getting better with Celsius. I'm very, very slow at it. I'm also trying to learn Spanish. My wife is native Spanish, like her whole family, they speak Spanish as the first language. So I'm trying to learn Spanish too. So Celsius, Spanish. I mean, I'm doing my best here. But yeah, so this is going to be interesting. This heat blanket. I don't know. Last night I tried it. Like I said, I did an hour or I did 45 minutes in 70 Celsius, and at the very end, it really felt great at the very end. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to kick up the temperature and see if it works better. I think it's going to be better for me. I'm always the kind, give me that heat really intense, and then then I'm all good. So anyway, guys, I hope that you have a great Easter weekend. This is Good Friday, so I hope you have a good Friday. I hope you have a great Friday. It's been a pleasure. It's always a lot of fun, and I missed doing this last week. Although I was driving, I was having a great day driving. I brought the family last week to the resort for the Wim Hof Method Weekend. I didn't, that was the first time I'd ever brought my family with me to an event, just because a lot of the times, I have to fly in and fly out, or it's just never very conducive to having my family there. And I never want to put my family in a position where they feel like they're a hassle or a pain. and I always want to be able to give them some time if I'm traveling with them. So we went, and it actually turned out really great. So, and my little boy got to see some of you guys. JCC, it was there. And JCC, I am so sorry, but for some reason, I thought I took pictures of you in your ice bath that very first day, and I can't find those pictures. But I've got good pictures of you. I've got videos of you guys getting into the pond. I've got, and then the professional photographer has some videos of it and pictures with the drone. So I'm looking forward to getting those as well. So you should be receiving those in the near future. But anyway, so it was just a really great weekend last weekend. And anyway, guys, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And I look forward to being able to talk to you guys next Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to try to pop up another YouTube video. I've been working so hard on my online course that I just haven't been creating as much on YouTube. And I apologize for that. So I'll be getting to those things soon. I've got a few really cool ones in the hopper, and we'll be getting back into the regular swing of things soon. Guys, have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy your Friday. Go out there and be kind to people. Bye-bye.